Hello everybody, today we are at Gallery NEWS Karasuyama Branch in the west side of Tokyo. It's a huge secondhand shop. Details are in the description box below. Here's a vintage magazine rack. It says natural for natural wood. Not a bad price, it's cheaper than what you get online here. And this is what we call a zaisu, which is a floor chair. I love how they've curated this section. It's mainly ceramics. And here we have some lidded bowls with goldfish. It's quite an unusual design though. I've not seen that one before. And they are 880 yen each, but I hope somebody buys the whole collection together. Some hand-painted and transferware in the blue and white. There's the mark for hizenware, so it could age from late Edo period into Meiji period. And transferware. It reminds me of the chinoiserie willow pattern by Spode out of the UK. Maybe it was made for export. It's a nice deep bowl, contemporary, but great for noodles. Some hand-painted Chinese dishes. I think they look like restaurant ware for Chinese restaurants. And they have the bat motif, which is for longevity and happiness. And these ones are also Chinese. You see those quite a bit. Some very large chargers or display plates and matcha tea bowls. And these are little mini vases used for tea ceremony. This one is wrapped in bamboo, and these two could be bizenware. And this one's really pretty with the wave pattern. It's called Seigaiha pattern. And a Kutaniware vase. It's a little bit roughly painted, I feel, but still pretty. And this looks like it should be mashiko-ware, but I'm not 100%. It's quite tricky to identify. And then this is Kutaniware for sure. And I'm just going to freeze frame here because I didn't know the background of this lily, which is called omoto in Japanese or Japanese sacred lily. So it's said that the shogun Tokugawa Ieyasu, the first shogun of Edo, of Tokyo, brought one with him when he first moved into the Edo castle, and he did that to ward off bad juju and bring in prosperity. So it's thought of as a moving in celebration plant. So it's the first plant you would bring into your new home. I don't know if it's that popular anymore because you used to see them outside houses a lot back in the day. Anyway, moving on. Here's a really lovely quality piece of Mishima ware. Only 1,100 yen. That's great. You can see the pattern made by stamps and then a lighter colored slip applied. It's basically clay inlay. And here's a tanuki. He's a fairly big one and suitable to put outside. And these look like studio pottery mugs. Lots of them. Check out this huge ikebana bamboo piece for flower arranging. Red glass cut to clear vase. It looked like one of those bedside water decanters at first, but the shape's a bit different, so it's definitely a vase. Many nooks and crannies in this place, and they have lots of the smaller dishes you can find at the antique markets, mostly dating from late Meiji period to early Showa period, so 1900s to about 1940s, 1950s. These small cases look like kogo to me, the incense cases that are used in tea ceremonies. This is a tsuchiningyo clay doll. It says it has chips. It's great that they report the condition on the labels. It's a pretty piece of transferware. The plum blossoms and cherry blossoms all have another pattern inside. Here's one with a shrimp, another auspicious symbol for longevity. And then this one has the Asanoha hemp leaf design in the center. This was filmed on a weekend, and I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, but regardless, it was super chilled out for a weekend. This looks like geisha ware, which usually was made for export. But that one was marked Nippon in Japanese, so I don't know, maybe it's domestic market. Some more nirikomi, where they've combined a couple of different colored clays to produce these swirls. I really like the layout of this shop, and it's a really fun place to explore. A large tokuri bottle with Mijin Karakusa pattern. And this is an interesting shape. The color of the clay looks a bit like banko ware, but it's quite a modern design, and the glazing looks a bit like mashiko ware, but I do not know. Maybe an expert might know. And here's their selection of yunomi, the teacups for loose leaf tea. This little jar is koishiwara ware, koishiwara yaki, it says on the bottom there, and it's from Fukuoka Prefecture in Kyushu. It's the predecessor of onta ware, also from Kyushu, but Oita Prefecture. So they can look quite similar, but usually they're stamped on the bottom with koishiwara yaki or onta yaki. Not always, but usually. Here's a Spanish leather encased decanter. Let's see how much these cost in Japan. That's 6,600 yen. And this is pretty. This has got the octopus arabesque pattern, tako karakusa. The shop sticker says shigaraki ware from Tsubokuro Kobo, or workshop or kiln. I love going through museum postcards. And this one looks handmade. A few more ceramics and then we'll move on to another room. Some mukozuke side dishes. And I actually really like this bowl with the hand-painted matsu, pine tree. I like its simplistic design. It's a useful size, isn't it? Same with this one, the transferware. I like the shape of it, the way it's got the scalloped edges. Cute little hand-painted fan, or uchiwa, only 330 yen. And this tokuri, or decanter, sake decanter, it's depicting scenes from a no play. We're now moving on from the ceramics section. I like the papier-mâché otafuku on the left. Pair of bonsai clippers. And this is a bunchin paperweight for when you do calligraphy with a really thin paper. And 1970s beaded curtain. These are some sturdy looking tubes. Be great for shipping larger art pieces like the vintage Showa period posters that you sometimes get in the markets. Or even hanging scrolls if they don't come with the original wooden boxes. This would protect it. Looks like this is from 1977 and the brand is Hoshino. This two-tiered container is by the makeup brand Shiseido, and they had a members club, so they gave these out to their members in 2001, and they call it a cotton pot, and it's to store things like your Q-tips. I had to look these pieces up, and they're called noshiguchi or omikiguchi, and they're decorative objects placed into the mouth of tokuri, sake decanters or sake bottles. And they do this during celebratory occasions like New Year's, and they place it on the household Shinto altars. It can be made of different materials like thin strips of wood or paper-covered wire, and these guys are made of brass, but they're missing the part that goes into the bottles. Another bunchin paperweight for calligraphy, and they're about the length of the paper itself. A vintage leather wallet or pouch with the kanji character for east, so higashi or to, like in Tokyo or Todai University or the Tokyo Train Line Company. Yeah, I would love to know more about why it has this kanji character. These are brushes made of bamboo and called sasara, and they're used to wash frying pans, skillets, that kind of thing. Lovely, isn't it, this little hikidashi set of drawers? Even if the black lacquer has signs of age, it's a beautiful design and the findings are great, but you might get a splinter from that corner. Okay, now we're going to head into the room with larger pieces of furniture. So I was kind of surprised that the dining set was a Japanese design from the 1970s. It almost looked Scandinavian to me. It was beautifully designed. Inside there is a lacquerware box, a 3-tier box. It's Tsugaru Nuri lacquerware from Aomori Prefecture. A high-quality bud vase with peony motif. We call this style Ironabeshima. Looks like a commemorative piece for a kabuki actor's performance. A neriage technique pedal-shaped bowl by ceramic artisan Yusuke Aida. He was known for making functional pieces like tableware, but also figurines such as the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. Some fake potted plants and a small section for clothing and accessories, but I'm not going to go through that today because we're going upstairs. First to this kind of mezzanine floor they have up there. So we'll go up those stairs and here it is. It's Showa retro furniture, fantastic. It's such a fun room. Much of what you'll see is from the 1950s to the 1980s. The compartments are quite small as they would have held tableware for Japanese cuisine. Love this glass cabinet. Look at the urushi lacquerware on the edges and feet. A writing bureau, but one you use while seated on the floor because we didn't sit on chairs until the late 19th century, and even then, most households sat on the floor. Many of us still prefer to sit on or close to the floor to this day. Do any of you write and send letters these days? I do, but I think that's actually kind of rare. A mid-century design umbrella stand. Let's see how much it is. 3,520 yen. That's great because it still has the original insert in the tray there. A couple more umbrella stands. Definitely look vintage. I know there's replicas like this, but these guys look as though they've been around for a while. Cast iron owl trivet or pot holder, late Showa period, and only 770 yen. That's great. This enamel bowl is from China and a retirement gift to someone who worked at a brewery. It specifically says Shanghai on the label, and it's an enamel wash basin for 6,600 yen. And the cool thing about it is the 888, as 8 is an auspicious number in both China and Japan, especially for prosperity. So a 888 is a total winner. This rattan piece is actually a handrail, like a support aid, but I can see it being used to hang things off like towels or scarves or get creative with it. Here's a very typical retro design magazine rack, a bit scuffed up, but it's 4,400 yen. And you can see from here what the first floor or ground floor is like, and the ceramics were on the left. We'll go check out the back part of the room later. I can see some sets of drawers that are super nice. This is the one on the right. Look at the wood grain on it, including the handles. Just condition it a bit and it'll be amazing. Then this one has got quite a bit of character, hasn't it, from the aging? And again, the wood grain and the findings. It's rather fabulous. So it's a little cupboard with the, I guess, washi paper inserts. That's pretty too. There's more on this tightly packed mezzanine floor, but we're going to go and check out the second floor now. So back up that red staircase. You can see where the entrances are, right? It's pretty big for a Tokyo store. And here we go, second floor. It's a kimono tansu. So much work has gone into the carving and lacquering of such a big piece. And look at this antique tansu. I guess you'd need a professional to fix this up, but it's beautiful. Only 11,000 yen because of its condition. In perfect condition, they're worth around 100,000 to 150,000 yen here in Japan. So antique dealers in, say, the US will sell them for thousands of dollars because of shipping and export fees and storage costs and labor costs and so on. Oh my gosh, they even have trophy heads up there. I presume someone brought them back from other countries, maybe during the 1980s when we had our bubble period. Is that a Native American painting in the right-hand corner? I'm going to take a closer look at that chest. This one here, if it will focus properly, it's actually a Korean antique chest called bandaji. Apparently in Korean, ban means half and daji means to open or close. So it's a chest that opens halfway and it's used for storing clothes and blankets. Seems quite useful. What's this bamboo box? It says it's a dust box, but it's quite a big size for that. You get a lot of rubbish in. A Balinese barong mask. I believe he's a guardian or protector of people. This guy hiding down there freaked me out a bit. He's not life-size, but he's still quite big. I don't know where he's from. I think probably Indonesia too. This little side table doesn't look like it's made in Japan, right? But it is by the furniture makers Hida Sangyo from Takayama in Gifu Prefecture. I thought it was European, and the same goes with everything in this section, including these sideboards stacked on top of each other. One is by Karimoku, a very well-known furniture company from Aichi Prefecture. And the other is by Yokohama Daniel, who are pioneers in the manufacture of Western furniture in Japan. We're back downstairs and in the far back corner of the shop, and there's more vintage beyond this appliance section. By the way, the Tokyoites shop is now back open, and also Japan Post has now resumed shipping to the United States. Please check the details in the shipping notes, which you can click on from down here. Actually, there's also a link on every listing as well, so you can access it from there too. I'd like to take the opportunity to say a huge thank you to everyone who shops at the Tokyoites. I appreciate your kindness and find true joy in the connections made with so many of you. Thank you. Okay, back to thrifting. It's a bit dark again in this area. Sorry about the blur. This goldfish wood carving was the one piece I wanted to buy on this day and put in the shop. But sadly, it had a big old chip on it, which you're going to see in a second. But isn't he fantastic with those huge eyes? We call them demekin when their eyes stick out like that. And there's a chip. When I first saw them, I thought they were actually both bronze pieces. Do you see what I mean? But no, brilliant wood carvings. And then this hand-woven bamboo basket is called biku, and it's a traditional fishing basket to store your catch. And these flat bamboo baskets are often used for drying food like plums or to make umeboshi, pickled plums. We dry them out naturally in the sun before pickling them. The eggshell thin teacups, these ones with the lithophane geisha pictured on the base, like the one I have at home here. Made in the 1930s through the 1960s for export mainly. It's like a tansu corridor. We'll go check out some vases in a minute. This artwork is called Nebuta Takoe, and they're painted by the same artists who designed the floats for the Nebuta Festival in Aomori Prefecture. Oh, that stacking looks precarious because we have so many earthquakes, right? So this is a wood-carved bear from Hokkaido. He's caught salmon. These can be more valuable at times if they're signed on the bottom. This one isn't. Like this one I have at home, you can see it has a date on one foot, and then it has Hitoritabi, which is a solo journey, maybe a title. And then this could be a name. It could be Keio, but it could be read in a number of ways. And then it looks like an Ainu name on the top. Another takoe hanging in the corner, and some traditional dento kokeshi. This Hanya mask was also something I contemplated getting, but it had a scratch to its forehead, which was a shame. It's a very cool no mask. I remember being terrified of them when I was a kid. One of my relatives used to have one on the wall. Bit scary for a child. Here's another itobori piece, so carved from a single piece of wood. It's an Akita breed dog. This will be a Chinese zodiac ornament. Some modern looking akabeko. It kind of felt like plastic, so I'm not sure what that is. In modern times, you could use these for storing electronics or remote controls or even jewelry. I'm intrigued by the old box underneath the vase. This one, imagine what it would have looked like when it was in pristine condition. It's a kinko or safe that belonged to Ando's women's barber shop or hairdressers. How specific is that information? This looks like another storage box for money with all the compartments. It says Kokumin Chokin Bako, which translates something like National Savings Box. The Japanese government ran nationwide savings initiatives collecting funds from citizens for wartime efforts and post-war rebuilding. And this was written on the inside, so it tells us it's from 1940. So it may have been used to collect funds in relation to the Sino-Japanese War, which had been going on since 1937. Well, that was a unique find with a bit of history. This plate is huge. It says Kasamayaki, Kasamaware from Ibaraki Prefecture. Look at how big it is compared to my hand. A wood-carved daruma and a large maneki neko, left hand up, so it's calling in the people. Good for shops and restaurants. It's in perfect condition, and it's a piggy bank. These are Tsugaru Nuri lacquerware chopstick rests, and they have a little compartment to hold toothpicks. And this one is a toothpick case. We're in the vase section now. And it's not just Japanese items that they have. There's pieces from other countries too. Bizenware on the left, Hidasuki style. And the middle one looks like it's another nerikomi or neriage. How funny, so much neriage on this day. Maybe they all belong to the same collector. This is by Sho Kato. He often used coil and slab techniques rather than the wheel. He experimented with glazes to get that deep blue color and also frequently used the butterfly motif. This looks like Rimini blue, doesn't it? It does say Italian, but it's quite a cheap price, so I guess for Tokyo prices. So I guess there's a problem with it. And yeah, there it is. There's the damage. Gorgeous color, beautifully made. I love seeing European vintage and antiques while thrifting here in Japan because, you know, we don't have as much of it, obviously. It's rare. There's a hibachi on the right side. and most likely Fukagawa Seiji Arita porcelain on the left. And this piece is by Kame Glass. It says Kinsai, so it means there's gold leaf. And yes, you can see the flecks there. The one on the left looks like shigaraki ware to me, and the middle one is cast iron. And then there's the kiriko cut glass. It's a nice handcrafted frame. Well, this is a delightful matcha bowl. It comes with a wooden box and it says Karatsu-e, which means it's from Karatsu in Saga Prefecture. And the potter name looks like Fukumori, maybe first name Kenko. Also coming with the box is this one with the irises. It's Nabeshima ware, so a higher grade of Arita ware. And it's from a very well-known Nabeshima kiln, Kawazoe Seizan. This bamboo basket is called Sozen Kago and modeled after a style attributed to the tea master Sozen from the Edo period. They tend to have the same shape with a square base and a round opening at the top. It comes with an exhibition pamphlet, but it does say it's not featured within it. And the artisan name is Buseki Suiko. He also designs in contemporary styles, and I thought these two were rather lovely. Can you see the matcha tea ceremony sets in there in the boxes? Kensui at the bottom to discard rinse water, mizusashi, water jug, then chawan, the matcha bowl. And on the left is a hishaku ladle. It's all very well organized, isn't it? Well, I hope you enjoyed wandering around Recycle Gallery News with me. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!